The day everything changed for Sandra started like every ordinary morning in their small, dusty town. She walked the familiar road barefoot, bucket balanced on her head, her mother shouting behind her, "Hurry, oh, before the sun wakes up angry." Sandra was only 11. Jack was 12. And every morning they walked this same road together. Two children carrying dreams bigger than their small world. Jack always noticed when the bucket felt too heavy. He'd take her book gently and say, "Hold it well, Sandra. One day this same book will carry us out of here." And she always repeated the same word. Us, like a promise. School ended, but they never rushed home. While other children scattered, they sat under the old mango tree behind the classrooms, the one that had listened to every dream they ever whispered. They wrote homework, drew their future in the corners of their notebooks, and shared the hope that life would one day be kinder. "What will you be?" Sandra asked one afternoon. Jack looked at the sky like it owed him something. "I don't know what yet, but I will be big." "Big like what?" "Big enough to build something they'll talk about on the radio, and big enough to make sure you never carry bucket again." Her chest warmed. "Just don't forget me when you become big." Jack picked a stone and carved two letters into the tree, J plus S. If I forget, the tree will remind me. But dreams didn't erase reality. Sandra went home to poverty. A drunk father, debts everywhere, nights when food didn't come. Jack went home to a different kind of struggle, parents arguing about his future, not about what to eat. One night, Jack woke to voices rising in their sitting room. "This boy is wasting here," his mother said. "He must go to a better school, maybe Abuja, maybe abroad." "And the girl he follows everywhere?" his father asked. Silence. "Friends come and go. His future is more important." Jack didn't sleep again. Before sunrise, he ran to Sandra's house. She stepped out, rubbing her eyes. "What happened?" He swallowed hard. "I might be leaving." Her smile died. They walked to their mango tree in silence, the air cold, their breaths visible. Sandra stared at the carved initials like they might protect what they were losing. "How long?" she whispered. "I don't know. Maybe years." A tear slid down her cheek before she could stop it. "So what about us?" Jack swallowed. He untied the beaded bracelet she made for him and tied it more firmly. "I'll come back, no matter how long it takes. I won't forget you. Promise? I promise." The morning of his departure came too fast. The bus park was loud, engines rumbling, hawkers shouting, fare collectors dragging passengers. Jack stood there with a suitcase too big for his small hands. Sandra stood barefoot at the edge of the crowd, clutching a nylon bag of biscuits bought with her last coins. When their eyes met, he smiled. A small smile hiding a big fear. "You came. Where else will I be?" They didn't say much. Words were useless. The driver shouted. His mother pulled him toward the bus. Sandra felt her chest tightening as he climbed in. When the bus began to move, she ran, barefoot, dust flying behind her. "Jack," she cried, "don't forget me." He pressed his palm against the dusty window, bracelet shining on his wrist. And just like that, the road between them grew longer. When the bus finally disappeared, Sandra stood alone, dust swirling around her heart heavier than the bucket she once carried. She whispered to the empty road, "I'll be here when you come back." Lagos moves fast, faster than memories, faster than healing. But Jack carried his memories like a wound he never let close. Years passed after he left the village. New country, new school, new expectations. He studied under fluorescent lights, built apps, failed, rose again. Soon his name lived on billboards and tech panels. Youngest tech billionaire, Nigeria's most eligible bachelor. But behind every headline was a man who still kept an old bracelet buried in his drawer, the one Sandra tied on his wrist when forever still felt simple. His parents pushed him toward marriage. "You're turning 30, Jack," his mother warned. But every arranged date ended the same. A polite smile, distracted eyes, and a heart quietly reaching backward. Across the same city, Sandra lived a completely different Lagos. After her father left and her mother became too sick to work, school disappeared from her life. Adulthood arrived too early, and Lagos welcomed her the way it welcomed most girls, with noise, struggle, and bills that didn't wait. She joined a cleaning company at 18, woke up before dawn, squeezed into crowded buses, swept hallways that smelled of expensive cologne, cleaned boardrooms where billion-naira decisions were made. And every time she wiped a glass table, one truth echoed in her heart. If Jack is alive, he's somewhere in a place like this. Her co-workers teased her about not having a boyfriend. She only smiled. My heart no get space for rehearsal. Then one morning, everything shifted. A memo appeared on the notice board. Group chairman visiting. Chairman, Jackson Adelowo. The surname meant nothing, but the first name froze her breath. Jack. Could it be her Jack? That night she sat outside with her neighbor, voice shaky. If it's him, will he even recognize me? Cleaner's uniform? Tired face? I'm not the girl he left behind. Before bed, she laid her uniform out carefully, smoothing every crease like tomorrow might judge her for it. And at sunrise, two people, two memories, two unfinished stories, walked toward the same building, one as the chairman, one as the cleaner. Two hearts shaped by the same mango tree, finally moving toward collision. Morning came with a tension Sandra had never felt before. Security stood at every door. Supervisors paced like soldiers preparing for inspection. The whole building buzzed with one truth. The group chairman was coming. Sandra's assignment was simple. Clean the corridor outside the boardroom, a place where every mistake echoed. She tried to stay invisible, polishing glass, wiping railings, but her mind was racing. What if it's him? What if it's not? Then she saw it, a familiar walk, a presence she felt more than she saw. Jack, older, sharper, but still Jack. Her breath caught, her hand slipped, and the bucket tilted. Water splashed across the arrogant manager's expensive suit. He froze. Then the rage erupted. Are you mad? He shouted. Before she could explain, before she could breathe, his hand whipped across her face. The slap echoed through the entire hallway. Inside the boardroom, Jack stopped mid-sentence. The commotion outside pulled him out of the meeting. He stepped into the hallway, annoyed, until he saw her. Sandra, her wet uniform, the red slap mark on her cheek, her trembling breath, and his entire world stopped. Sandra, he whispered. She looked up, and for a moment, time rewound. To the mango tree, the dusty road, the bracelet, the promise. The manager stammered excuses, but Jack cut through them with a calm so dangerous it froze the hallway. Who authorized you to lay hands on my staff? Sir, she's contract. She works in my building, Jack said quietly. That makes her mine to protect. Whispers spread instantly. Jack suspended the meeting, suspended the manager, and walked straight to Sandra. Are you okay? He asked softly. She tried to smile, but her tears answered for her. He asked her supervisor to give her the rest of the day off. On my account. Then instead of returning to his executive suite, he followed her to the small staff cafeteria. No guards, no cameras, just two childhood souls finding each other again. The first words were awkward, then mango tree memories returned. The exercise book, the biscuits, the promise at the bus park. "I've been looking for you for years," he confessed. She laughed through her tears. "Me? I've been waiting like Moo." His phone vibrated, his parents calling nonstop. Jack silenced it, looked straight into her eyes. "They can wait," he said. "You, you've waited long enough." The slap changed everything, but the aftermath shook the entire company. By the next morning, the building was buzzing. Workers whispered in corners, pretending to arrange files while stealing glances at the cafeteria, where the billionaire chairman had sat with a cleaner. Rumors flew like wildfire. Chairman left meeting for her? Cleaner, we get luck. What if she ruins his reputation? Sandra kept her head down as she walked, not from shame, but because attention felt heavier than any mop she'd ever held. Even her cleaner friends now looked at her differently, half envy, half fear. That evening, Jack's parents stormed into his penthouse. His mother didn't waste a breath. "Jackson, who is she?" Jack didn't blink. "Someone I should never have left behind." His father's sigh was long. His mother folded her arms tightly. "You have investors to reassure, a political partnership waiting, a senator's daughter expecting an engagement. You cannot throw away your future for nostalgia." Jack exhaled. "This isn't nostalgia. This is the only real thing I have left." His mother stepped closer. "Real won't protect your empire." Jack walked past her. "If being a brand means losing myself, then I don't want it." Meanwhile, Sandra sat beside her mother that same night, staring at her phone as blurry pictures of her and Jack trended everywhere. Who is the billionaire's mystery cleaner? Love or Lagos fairy tale? How long before he drops her? Her chest tightened. The world didn't know the boy she grew up with. They only saw the billionaire. The next morning, even her supervisor pulled her aside. "Men like that don't marry girls like us. Don't lose your job chasing dream." Sandra didn't argue. She was never chasing anything. She was just trying to survive the storm. But behind the scenes, the storm was changing Jack too. He quietly ordered new policies, better pay for staff, safer conditions, strict consequences for abuse. Everyone thought HR suddenly became kind. Sandra knew it all started because of her. Some evenings, Jack picked her up after work, not in a convoy, but in a simple car, like the boy she once knew. They talked softly about mango tree memories, childhood promises, and scars that time never healed. One night he walked her home. Neighbors stared openly. Her mother appeared at the door, weak but smiling. "You came back," she whispered, and that single sentence held 10 years of waiting. Later, her mother told him quietly, "I asked God to either remove you from her heart or bring you back clean. He brought you back clean." But outside, pressure only grew stronger. Blogs called Sandra a gold digger. Investors demanded Jack marry the senator's daughter. His parents were furious. Sandra read cruel comments online and finally broke down. "I don't want to be the reason you lose everything," she whispered to him one night. Jack held her hand. "You're the reason I remember why I built anything at all." But when she got home, she typed a message she didn't send. "If loving me will cost you your peace, say it. I'll walk away." Because now the war between love and the world had officially begun. The boardroom felt colder than it ever had. Jack sat at the head of the table, But today, the seat didn't feel like his. Everyone was talking, investors, his parents, the board. But all he heard was Sandra's voice from the night before. I don't want to be the reason you lose everything. His father's voice snapped him back. Jack, end this distraction. Announce the engagement. His mother added, marriage is strategy. This is how powerful families stay powerful. Numbers, alliances, political partnerships. They spoke as if he were a business, not a man. And then the final blow came. Engage the senator's daughter or step down as chairman. That night, Jack walked through his penthouse like it was a cage. The city glittered beneath him, but he felt nothing. He whispered into the empty room, who am I without her? But across town, Sandra was making her own choice. She folded her cleaning uniform, placed her ID card on top, and resigned. Before anyone could stop her, she slipped out quietly. When Jack arrived later and heard the words, she's gone, his world stopped. Someone whispered, I think she went home. Your village. He didn't wait. He didn't think. He just left. Meanwhile, Sandra sat under their old mango tree, staring at the faded carving, J+S. Her voice trembled as she whispered, if this is all we were meant to be, I'll survive. Back in Lagos, the press conference was starting. Cameras flashed as Jack stepped on stage. He was supposed to announce a political engagement. Instead, he said calmly, there's someone I owe the truth, before I owe anyone else, and I will not be accepting the proposed alliance. Gasps filled the room. Reporters shouted, but Jack simply walked away. Evening fell in the village as Sandra sat under the tree. A car door closed softly behind her. She turned. Jack stood there. Not the billionaire, not the brand, just the boy she once knew. You resigned, he said. You chose peace, she whispered. He stepped closer. I can rebuild a company. I can't rebuild us if I lose you again. Tears streamed down her face. I don't fit your world, she said. Jack smiled gently. Then I'll build a world that fits us. He knelt in the dust, opened a small ring box, and whispered, marry me, Sandra. She nodded, unable to speak. And under that old mango tree, the promise they made as children finally came home.